Right, Ron?
Was that? Yeah,
Executive
I think I
session.
like that.
You want to
I like
meet on this or just postpone it to the full meeting next?
Let go of it.
Oh, I just carried over to,
Oh, I did too. I followed them
Yeah.
right regular when I was young.
that's, he was
I think part of it is
gonna donate it, and then he wasn't gonna donate it, and I donated it.
they're never gonna move.
I
No,
got all
they're
worked.
not.
Always gonna be,
Okay.
I get tired of the moving around. Football, it's just,
This is to do that.
I barely watch it.
Did I work something out?
Morning, Mike. Morning to everyone.
Good morning.
Like to come to order here, 8:30 this beautiful morning. Public Works Services Committee, Tuesday, January 26, 2016, here in the Evans Government Auditorium. Bow your heads a moment, we'll have a word of prayer. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you so much for this beautiful day and this beautiful community and country and all the many blessings, Lord, that take all of these things to heart, not take them for granted, but show you the glory and the serve. We pray for your presence here this morning. Guide our thinking. Lead us in the direction that you have us to go in the best interest.
Yeah.
Stand for the pledge.
Pledge allegiance to the flag, United States of America, Republic,
Okay, so we have a full committee here this morning, all in attendance, quorum. Gentlemen have had a chance to look at the previous meeting. I know it's been a while since we last met. Take a motion to, that's agreeable to you.
So move.
Second.
Okay, that stands approved. Then today's agenda, I think we have a request for an addition.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, your approval, we would like to add as item I2C1, item added at the meeting, it'll be a tax matter having to do with improperly paid back taxes.
Tax matter. Thank you. Anything else? Where changes in? There are no changes. We presented with that one addition.
Make a motion.
Presentation.
No, sir.
We do have one item on the consent agenda from the water utility, a permanent easement for a sewer line from Merchants Association. Take a recommendation. Approval?
Move for consent.
Second.
Questions? Okay, that stands approved. Now let's move to the debate agenda. And we have some new business under water utility. Mr. Clayton?
On December 17th, we received bids for a compact hydraulic excavator. The low bid, which met specs, was submitted by Reliable Equipment Rental of Evans in the amount of $62,592. This was a budgeted item, and we recommend approval of the low bid.
I move for consent.
Second.
Okay. We move for consent. That is approved. Thank you, Mr. Clayton. Another one?
I have an engineering proposal from Blue Water Engineers for a sewer line stabilization project along Jones Creek near Spears Ferry Road. Engineering proposal is a lump sum fee not to exceed $15,500, and we'd recommend approval.
Okay.
Move for consent.
Second.
Move forward. Next.
Another engineering proposal from Blue Water Engineer for an additional sewer line stabilization project along Crawford Creek. The engineer proposal is in a lump sum fee not to exceed $14,350, and we would recommend approval.
Move to consent.
Second. Did we skip over something?
Not yet.
I don't have anything.
Not yet, that means I'm going to.
Okay, sorry.
What'd I miss? I think I'm on track.
Okay.
All right, now we go to tab 6, MOU.
Yes, we have for your consideration a memorandum of understanding. There is a organization that have called themselves the Savannah River Clean Water Fund, who is trying to establish conservatories up and down the river to conserve land that would hopefully eventually show itself to reduce pollution into the Savannah River. They have started by asking all the municipalities that utilize the river up and from Savannah up toward the Clarksville Dam to participate in this fund. It is a process in which we could receive advantage in years to come as far as the loadings in the river where pollution is concerned. Beaufort, Jasper, and South Carolina, Savannah, Augusta, and North Augusta has already agreed to participate, and they are asking us to participate in an amount not to exceed $100,000 a year, understanding that any conservation deals that they would come up with would have to be brought back to this board for y'all's approval. And we would recommend approval of that memorandum of understanding.
Mr. Chairman, to elaborate a little bit, this is something that Ray Boardman of Augusta Richmond County has initiated, had conversation probably over the last year. He has support from the Georgia EPD. And basically, as Billy said, it's a fund to buy up land and place in permanent conservation use to avoid development along the basin. And I believe thus far they've been able to secure several grants already to increase the fund. The agreement that they submitted to us was not satisfactory to us or to the county attorney or to the administrator. And that was redone, and hopefully we have an agreement now that we can agree to and that they will accept also. So as Billy said, I think it's a good thing. The details, I guess, to be determined as how it'll help us as we go down the road. But I would move for consent.
I'll second with a question, and it's just a minor one, but it said a commencement date or around July 2015, since it hadn't gone into effect. The 3 years, is that 15, 16, 17, or 16, 17, and 18?
My guess is by the time we execute this, it's gonna be 16, 17, 18. I would show it in my upcoming budget for this next.
And then, how will we get, it says we'll have a board member on their board. How will,
I'm glad you broached that, because I was gonna add that it's up to this body to appoint someone who is not on staff to represent the county on that board.
So it'd have to be someone from the general public?
Yes.
Well, it could be an elected official, I think, couldn't it?
I don't know if it could be an elected official or not in reading that. I guess the county attorney could address that.
Either way, the board will appoint the person one way or the other.
It does say in there that it can't be elected.
Okay?
That's what I was thinking.
This is an annual payment.
Yes.
It's not just one time for 3 years, it's 100,000.
Each year.
But in effect, they asked for a lot more, and we really finally got them to accept our present contract with the Southeastern Sciences Academy as part of our contributions, since we've been paying them for testing anyway.
Well, I think it's a good tangible gesture on our part. We're all concerned about the environment.
It's a start.
Yeah.
I know they plan on visiting some of the industries along the river, but they wanted to have a starting place. Starting place where the municipalities up and down the river.
Okay? This doesn't have to go to debate, Johnson, if it's money.
No, sir, it's a memorandum of understanding. I don't think it would.
Put that to consent. Next, Spring Services Water System Capital Improvement Plan.
Yes, I have for your consideration from Zell Engineering for a revenue bond study report. They're agreed to do that. They did it for us. They've done it for us the last 2 or 3 times we've done this report. a lump sum of $35,000. I believe that's what we paid them back in 2009, so it's a pretty good price on that. And basically what we'll be doing is creating those projects that we would bring back to commissioners for their consideration for a future revenue bond issue. So this is just the first step, so to speak.
Quick clarification, the letter,
Yeah.
38,000.
Gate.
Does it really? I'll have to get with George on that, because he and I agreed to 35. I missed that.
You gotta watch those, George.
You do indeed,
Jorge.
Jorge, yeah.
So
But,
we-
he and I agreed to 35. I just missed that when he sent it to me. So I would still recommend the fee at 35.
Okay, what's the pledge?
Move to consent.
Second.
All right, thank you, Mr. Clayton. Another one? Yeah.
This next item is actually a Development and Engineering Services item, but due to the switch in the committees, we had to put it on this one. Appreciate you hearing this one today. This is the acceptance of the performance bond letter of credit and engineering cost estimate for improvements of Kellery Section 1B. Once all infrastructure improvements have been completed, the developer will submit an as-built for approval and then request the formal release of the bond and letter of credit. Staff recommends approval of this acceptance, but we do add or propose one condition, that the acceptance of the bond letter of credit and engineering cost estimate for this section, this 1B, will not be accepted until the approval of the as-built and release of the bond and letter of credit for 1A. There's some outstanding issues in 1A that need to be buttoned up before 1B moves forward.
Move for consent.
Second.
Okay, I apologize for the
Apologies needed.
Thank you, Mr. Strickland. Other committees, development services?
Got one for you. This is an easement encroachment. This is dealing with the Montoya family. You recently heard a request for an abandonment of easement and then a withdrawal of that request for abandonment. So now we're bringing for your consideration an easement encroachment. This encroachment would be for 448 and 452 Northridge Circle and for 788 Springbrook Lane. There was a retaining wall built inside of our easement. Staff has met, as well as Commissioner Richardson has met with the families out there. We feel that this is the best option for them, allows them to get in there and work on their wall. We do not have any infrastructure in this easement. We don't see the need to put any infrastructure in this easement. So this time, staff has recommended approval of these encroachment agreements for the Montoya family, the Abad family, and the Dara family.
To make improvements on their wall.
It allows their wall to be in our easement. Basically, what they gotta do is they wanna put a tieback system in, which will go deep into the easement and actually cross the property lines onto their neighbor's property. They'll have to get all that worked out with their neighbors. We're not getting involved in that. We're just allowing them to put that in our easement.
They gotta put a buttress up to support the wall?
Probably gonna do tiebacks. They, a fabric, well, we don't know.
Okay.
One of them was, we talked about doing tiebacks. We've talked about 100 different things that we could do for this wall. We basically gave them our ideas and we stepped out. We're gonna let them figure it out themselves.
Is the wall leaning already?
It's moving, it's
They-
cracking.
They need to do something with the wall. Move to consent.
Second.
Okay, we move that along. Faulkner? So now I think we're at the item added at the meeting.
Yes, sir.
Cross, do you want to
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman.
explain this?
This is a request from the a family of from Eugenia Buford. Back in 2001, she transferred some property that she owned, 5 acres, to her daughter-in-law and son. It was not removed from the tax assessor's books, so they continued to pay this since that time. The tax assessor has refunded the last 3 years, which they can do under the law, but it's been our policy to refund the entire amount in case where it was for our error. And the taxes were paid under a different parcel. There was a duplication, but when the land was transferred, they created a C denotation under the same parcel number to identify the 5 acres that was pulled out. So it was paid by the original landowner and by the new landowner, and so there was a duplication. And now they're requesting the refund from years 2002 through 2012, which amounts to $1,565.38. And again, it's my position, as has been the board's in the past, that, you know, there's no statute of limitation on doing what's right, and it would be the right thing to refund this entire amount.
Because it was our mistake.
We failed to take it off of the original parcel when the 5 acres was deeded.
Move to consent.
Second, thank you.
Any legal matters? She's good. Staff reports. Clayton, back to you.
Yes, sir. You'll see in our budget report that we are dead on target with our budget. Feel very comfortable with it at this point in time, both in expenditures and revenues. Have for your review and information there. Also, a construction report showing basically our extension renewal construction projects are very active. Anything shown in red shows any activity in that over the last month. And then we just have our workload report for you, showing you the amount of work that we accomplished during that month. For information.
Brad, any comments, Mother?
What is the anticipated completion date of the tank on Morningside?
Well, we had trouble. We were supposed to have a pre-con on that last week, but they had trouble getting out of North Carolina.
Oh,
So
okay.
we've postponed that until possibly this week.
So it's too early to ask about completion, we're talking about starting.
Oh, it is,
Okay.
yes. We hadn't cut ground yet,
All right,
but the contract has been awarded.
thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Clayton. Public comments. Roy?
I know about them, but we don't get a report about them. I said, I know about them. I'm very familiar with the GATE program, but we don't get a report from the state. I agree.
Well, they talked about corrections during the last general assembly session, but I don't know that they made any.
They made some
They
adjustments.
did make some?
Still under the Department of Agriculture, not under the Department of Revenue. Yeah, I think they need to tighten up on that, and they have started to. I've been hearing this since it was put in place, how liberal it was. They are beginning to pay attention to sales tax.
Mr. Johnson, I believe the most blatant one of those was a guy that bought a jet ski to be able to say he went out to look at the condition of his pond on his property.
2 jet skis.
2 jet skis. Did he get a trailer too?
I believe so. There was another situation where a gentleman bought a 28-foot boat because he had ponds on his farm that he had to go check out.
He was checking on his catfish.
That's right.
I bet the boat was bigger than the pond.
Well, from what I understand, Mr. Rourke, they are aware of it. Well, thank you, as a taxpayer. Any commissioners' comments? We do have an executive session on the agenda, gentlemen. What's the pleasure?
Mr. Chairman, with your permission, I move that we take this personnel matter and this land acquisition matter on to the full board.
Okay? That, so we'll pass it on to the next full commission meeting next month. Seeing there's no other business, I'd like to make an announcement. The next scheduled Public Works Services Committee meeting, February 23rd, 2016, 8:30 a.m., not here, at the Columbia County Courthouse in Appling, Georgia. Being no other business I'm aware of. Adjourn.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
And adjourned.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Chairman, it's your committee.
How much time do we need?
Just a couple of minutes.
8:55? or-
That's fine.
Okay.
Appreciate you putting that on there and getting it out of the way.
Yeah, I'm sure those people not like to wait another month.
Oh, she has, the daughter has called, the mother has called.
But, to Atlanta. Yeah, by time, the northern part of Atlanta. South by. He was a little bitty. No, they took him out there to look. I did not.
I'd like to call to order the Community and Emergency Service Committee meeting for January the 16th. Having already had the invocation and the pledge, we'll go right on into the approval of the meeting, previous minutes.
I'll move. That is.
Second.
Additions to the agenda.
Not to my knowledge, Mr.
I'd like to call, presentation, I'd like to call Dwayne Starnberg from Georgia Atlanta Glides Tour Company. Morning, sir.
Good morning. Morning, everybody. First, I'd like to just really introduce myself and why I'm here today. My name is Dwayne Starnberg. I am first-generation American. My parents are immigrants, and I joined the Army right out of high school. Served for 3 years, and I'm a local graduate. You might all laugh about this, from Augusta College, Augusta State University. I graduated in '96, so I already had the privilege of the name change. I have a degree in political science with a history minor. I currently live in Columbia County and operate and own Dwayne's Pool Service. I live in the city limits of Harlem. I volunteer locally with my community. I've worked on a recreation committee. I worked on the 2010 census, and I currently